the button down in the middle, it says push.
Oh, okay. And then as long as it's green, we're good.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Those gentlemen need their microphone.
Can you hear?
If I need one, you guys need one.
You can push the-
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay.
Okay, everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 4:41. So then.
Okay, I'll help you. I'll move to set the date of the next meeting
Thank
as
you.
February 19th, 2019.
Okay, we have issue with that because the 18th.
I'm just going by what's written on here, so I made a motion.
Okay.
So you had mentioned in your minutes or your note that you want to maybe move it up to the 12th because the 18th is a holiday.
Yeah, the 18th is a holiday, so the city council would meet on the 19th, and that's the conflict.
President's Day.
Oh.
Observed.
Depends on how long your meetings go. City council will start till 6.
Okay, so do you want me to amend my motion to move it to the 12th of February?
Well, any further discussion?
Well, there's no second, so
Oh,
can't really have any discussion.
okay, that's right.
So,
I'll second.
Okay.
okay, so do we want to change it to the 12th?
Or like Jessica said, the council doesn't meet until 6.
Starts at 6.
You guys come in here earlier and like to kind of get
People are
ready?
usually in here setting up, and at least 2 people sitting there by 5:30.
Yeah, so that sounds like that would kind of rush us.
Yep.
So
So would you say you think
It's
this
me
would be
usually.
kind of rushed?
Jim.
It-
Jim.
If we did it on the same day.
yes.
Okay.
So we want to go to the 12th?
I mean,
Or do you want to move it to, I don't know Dave's availability or anybody else's availability. It's far enough out.
I'm available.
We put them on Tuesdays so that Dave could attend,
Right.
at least most
Mhm,
of them,
most
correct?
of-
So I think keeping it on a Tuesday would probably be better without knowing his input.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll move that we have the next meeting on February 12th, 4:30 p.m. in council chambers.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Do I say so moved? Or no, don't have.
No, but they voted, so
Okay, I
it's
didn't
good.
know.
It's
You can
business.
say all opposed, and if nobody says
Okay.
anything, then you just go on.
Okay, so then all opposed. So we'll go to 3, approval of the minutes. Did anybody have any noticings on that?
I'm a bad trustee because I got everything, but I haven't looked at any of it. So depend on you guys to make sure it's accurate.
Yeah, and I guess I read through it. My only comment was to, not anything with the minutes, but to make sure everything that we said was going to be pushed to this meeting is covered in
Mhm.
this.
Yes.
Right.
And
Yes.
I guess I didn't line them all up, but
Yeah. I took your comments after the
assuming
November
that
meeting
that
and-
is correct, I will move approval of the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, financial report.
Okay, we have your photocopies of the statements for November and December. Sorry. Plus the bills. That the bills should be in your packet. And the monthly budget statement, but there is the balance for the trustees' bank account. And I did talk to Michelle, and evidently so did Jessica. reason the balances don't match. It just depends on when all the deposits and the checks come in and they're all balanced. It's just the timing. But she assured me that once the year end was over, it would balance.
Okay, so we've got copies of November's balance deposit and
December's.
December's.
Yeah.
Okay. And then reconciled 1/8/19, and then when Michelle closes the books, which we're assuming is going to probably be March, I'm thinking, for 2018, we'll know what final end of year, but should approximately be someplace around $81,743.73.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
And then there are,
Anything else in the financial stuff you
we
want to
got
bring out?
on the website there was the budget, the expenditure report. November, you really don't need to do that, but
What does it look like?
Like this?
right.
Okay.
And it's for,
So it's just November.
December 31st, 2018, expenditures report unaudited at the top. 1/8/2019.
Right. Oh,
December or November?
December.
Oh, okay.
December, November's, we didn't have
Right.
we got it in the packet, but since it's,
Got it. We wouldn't approve it. Okay.
we've lapsed that, so,
Yep, we're beyond.
so we're beyond that.
But I thought if
And-
y'all wanted to review it,
Okay, so I guess my question, so we ended up at 634 and there said we still had 33,000 unspent, but do we have are there any outstanding bills, or that's what we're waiting on?
there's a, yeah, they
couple.
would be in your bills for December. The line item.
I recall there were some significant expenditures in December that wouldn't be reflected on November. but they
Right.
came through.
Right, but
This
this
will
is through
come
December
after.
31st.
Right.
This is through
12/31.
December 31st.
And the
And
rest
so-
of the bills, basically, they're all going to be approved next week, next Monday.
Yep. And that will
Yeah.
close out.
And so actually, we went over on books.
Good.
So we, like drunken sailors, but we sobered up, but maybe not quite early enough.
Yeah, but
But,
we used
So we
money.
were at 47 with 7,000 left, and we spent
we
more than
spent
that.
it.
Okay.
We spent all of it plus.
We had 9,000 in capital outlay left to spend, and
We spent
that.
it.
Awesome.
Okay.
We were advised by city administration that we shouldn't wait until the last moment
Yep.
to spend. We need to be spending all year long.
Yep.
Or if you wait till the last minute, then it's proving that it doesn't need to be spent.
Yep. And
So-
I think that was Carolyn's point. To
Right.
Right.
Point out
Mhm.
as we were going through last fall that
Right.
we need to take a look at that and not run it down
Yeah.
to the end.
But we
That's-
are spending a certain amount every month, so,
So that's the plan for 2019 now?
yes.
Spend a certain
Mhm.
amount each month?
Yep.
And a 12th of the book budget each month.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Or a 13th and don't spend any in the last month.
Exactly.
Right. Well, yeah.
How about
So that you know at the end of November where you are,
And just wait for the rest of
Going
the
in-
bills to
going
come
in
in.
and then-
Yep.
and then wait. So I don't even care if you'd spend bump it up, spend a little more than a 12th, so that when you get down to those last 2 months,
Yeah, budget
You-
it for
you can
11
plan it
months
out.
and, right.
you don't want to be under and we don't want to really be over unless we have a specific request. But if we see that trend, we got to put it in the budget next summer
Mhm.
for 2020
2020.
if things have to shift.
Right.
That's always a cat and mouse game, but
It is what it is.
you can't come in right now in 2019 and say, oh, we need more money in 2019. You can, but
But you won't get
the
it. yeah.
chances aren't very good unless you're going to move it around from one area to another and we agree to not spend on something and spend on something else. So, okay, so we'll know where we ended up probably at our next meeting.
Right.
And I'm assuming we underspent on some of our regular expenses. Do we know how we ended up on salaries?
We usually come in right at 100%.
Well, it depends on overtime and
Mhm.
other stuff that,
If you look,
et cetera. How well group insurance was calculated and everything else, which you don't have any control of. But, okay, I'm just curious. So, because we look pretty good, and then we'll see where we are when we get the end of year numbers.
I guess I was a little bit confused because I was trying to make sense of some of these. And I thought you were like when a person leaves the position and then we wait to hire, or we hire somebody but we have to wait so long for hours.
Yep.
I was thinking, do people not get paid overtime? You know, because this overtime line just says 0. So I didn't know.
Employees have the choice between overtime or comp time. And the employees, when I'm approving the timesheets after Jackie does, I'm seeing that they are choosing to utilize that time that they work over the 40 hours as comp time. That time still gets paid out at time and a half. So even though it doesn't show up on the overtime line item, it's still costing us more money for all
Our
the
salary line would be higher.
Our salary line goes higher because of that.
Got it. Because I noticed that. Oh, there's quite a bit from last year to. Yeah.
Let's back up on that comp time question a minute. So what we're doing is we're not paying overtime, but we're paying 1.5 times.
On comp, so they get more vacation time.
So that may account for some of our shorthandedness.
Correct.
Could,
Correct.
yeah, because they're, yeah.
That's false economy.
I guess you have to explain it to me. I'm just not quite following.
Well, I would think that you would have more time with short staff then.
Well, I say that's
Yeah.
false
Yeah,
economy.
if you're working,
Somebody works
If you're
45
working 50 hours, yeah, 45
and then
hours.
takes 5 hours of the other week as comp and isn't there, and so now there's only
Except
2
now-
people there instead of 3 people.
except
Okay.
now they're not taking 5 hours, they're taking 7.5,
Correct.
right?
Oh.
I would think that just compounds your short staffing.
I did have a discussion with Jackie because we have an employee, the new employee, Jean Patrick. She has accumulated a lot of comp time this last year. In fact, she worked 50.25 hours over the 2180. 2180 is your set time for the year. So she worked 50.25 hours extra, which accumulated to a time and a half is 75.38. And she's the only employee who got that much. The next was Cindy Minen. She had 27.5 hours, which equated to 41.25. Otherwise, the other librarians had 4.5, 1.5, 0, and 0. So we just had the one employee working well over, and it's a consistent pattern. She's working overtime almost every single week.
Do you need her to work overtime, or is she just doing that to get her
Well,
job done?
last week I needed her to because we're short-staffed. And that came at the last minute.
So it's
So,
kind
and
of
we
a
didn't have
vicious
enough
circle.
people to cover the desk.
So is that's a city policy, the way that works? And how we
Oh,
can-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's somewhat unique to government employment. Don't try and do that in a private business.
Yeah.
You certainly don't, in private business, if you have comp time, you don't get time and a half comp time.
Right.
You get your overtime, or you get comp time at regular.
Yeah, so if I work 5 extra hours, I get 5 hours of comp.
Yeah, and you're also
Usually only within the whatever pay period that you're in, then you can't use it. If you don't use it within the pay period, then
and Steve, that's why I generally advise both my government and private clients, it's overtime, period. Don't play games with comp time. But that's somebody else's decision.
Right,
to make.
with the city, that's all in our
Yeah.
negotiation.
That's
policies,
citywide,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Got it.
It's in our city
So it's
personnel
not that
policy and our
we-
union agreement.
yeah, yeah.
So what do we do with this employee that has 50 hours of,
We got to give it to
Overtime.
her.
Yeah.
I know, but now we are short-staffed, so can she take it?
Well, I also have a concern. You're giving it to one employee and not the others. It's not being evenly distributed.
I've offered to the other employees and they've said no.
So just
Make sure you
Right,
document that. too.
Okay.
I guess just from a board policy standpoint, Jackie, would like you to see if we can discourage that person from accumulating that many hours if possible. And if there is some time that she could take 2 hours here or 3 hours there to use it up and still keep you covered.
Mm-hmm.
But
We can
I
do
guess try to discourage that increasing. I know Jean, and she's going to work until she thinks it needs to be done, and et cetera, et cetera. But we don't have really a way for her to give up those hours,
Mm-hmm.
and she, not
Right,
that we're
because she
gonna
has a
ask her
unique
to.
job that
Correct.
she does things that no one else does.
Right.
So she should, yeah. So, I mean, when she's working the desk, she's doing a job that other people can do. But when she's doing her children's library job, no one else can do that. So that's where she needs to focus her time on, the children's library, because
Yeah.
Right.
that's her forte.
And she can do some of that up there at the desk
Okay.
too.
Okay. So okay.
My only other question was, because I remember from last year with the bills and things, and maybe this isn't where I should be asking it, but did we ever get paid from Davidson County? Would that show up on
Oh
a specific
no, in
line?
2019 we did not.
Oh, okay, so it
Or
was.
2018. 18
We
we
will
did
this
not.
year.
Got
because,
it.
Because we did not send them an invoice.
Okay, so it's okay. I was confused which year. So then when would that so to
I
make
can
sure
send
we
it
get
to the
paid
county
this year,
anytime now.
so you could do it
I
in
can
January.
send an invoice, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
That's why I was
please,
looking. I'm like, well, I don't.
Please send it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't.
And
during-
typically in the other years where I've seen it come in, it'd come in March or April, and so we
Mhm.
must have sent it in January, and then they paid it, probably processed. They get it, takes them a month, takes them a meeting to have it, goes into the county system, takes a month to pay,
Okay.
Mhm.
et cetera. So
Okay.
when we did our, wherever that sheet of paper is that has all the trustees' budget and the monthly, when we made this up and put our, looks like we took the totals and just divided them by 12 and
Mhm.
put them in there. We made that total around $18,000 target based on the assumption that we would get the county $6,500.
Right. And we have been approved for that for this year.
So
Okay. Thank you for answering. I just wanted to make sure we didn't forget it
18
again.
we missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, they didn't tell us we had to submit.
Anything
Okay.
else with bills?
Okay, there are two sets of bills, December bills that came out. One is for the claimed ones that will be
Yep.
paid into 2018. And there's just a few bills that came in that are actually 2019.
Yeah,
So they run separate reports.
So then based on, we know the balance in the trustee account, we have the monthly trustee budget and the set of city bills, and the question of our, how do I want to put it, the question of our comp time
Mhm.
and try and manage that. With that, I'll approve the financial report item, or make a motion to approve financial report item 4.
Based on the discussions and the information we've had, since I'll admit I didn't read that specifically, I will second the motion.
Okay, so approve the financial report. And what was the last one? Number 4?
That's item 4 on the agenda,
Oh, item 4, okay.
right?
Yep. Okay.
We have several things in the financial report, all
Okay.
grouped under number 4.
Okay.
So all
Bills, monthly statement, trustee account, and then we
Gotcha.
talked about
Okay.
the comp time, which relates to the monthly statement.
Okay.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay. On to number 5, director's report.
Okay. I know in the report that Steve sent you, our figures were a little,
You're in your meeting room deal, in your statistics report, you still have a couple places where you don't have formulas and the totals still aren't correct.
really,
Yeah, go back and
I'll go
please
back
check
and-
those and make sure they're all formulas, because I know that my meeting room use total of 7610 doesn't match yours.
okay,
And you've got a couple places, I think, in your 2018 column where you just have a number typed in and it's not being calculated.
okay.
If I remember correctly as I went through, that's where I thought I saw it, is either in the story time or the meeting room use.
Okay,
Some of them you have as formulas that adds up all the appropriate columns, and some of them you just have a number typed in for some reason. At least in the copy that you sent me to do the update. So I don't know what
yeah, I don't know.
there's a requirement to send the 2018 numbers to the state or whatever that is, that you have to make sure that those are updated. Other than that, I sent everybody a copy of stuff that I put together, but that's just my observation of looking at the 2018 numbers. And we did pretty good
Yeah, we did.
from that standpoint. I wish we would have eclipsed 2017 circulation numbers, but we were close.
Yeah, you know, the last month or so, it was pretty quiet.
So
The weather was nicer, longer this year.
Yeah,
That could
there
play
was the
into
May well
nice
be
days.
part of it, yeah.
yeah, the one thing, and I did put the comment in, and we probably need to think about is, I don't know if our computer trend's going to be that way, or we just need to think about how to offer the best broadband or Wi-Fi or whatever, and there's less focus of actually having them available if our, but it's at least probably take another year to check.
Yeah.
As our devices start to age out.
Our devices start to age up, maybe
Well,
people
and I
won't
think
want to
that's-
use them because they want to hold a tablet in their hand and
Yeah.
do other stuff, but then that's a decision we need to think about.
Well, we can go to the additional items. You asked about the password that patrons have to
Oh, yeah.
input before they can use their laptops. Talked to Andrew about that, and he said that password can be removed at any
We
time.
can have, okay.
Just have open access.
Open access,
Log
yep.
in.
And
do it. Yeah.
Jessica, can you check, do we as the city, and maybe Stephanie, I don't know how it's in our budget, do we get E-rate reduction for our library through the federal government?
No, we don't.
And do we know why?
What is that, I guess?
Well, I think for the longest time,
You
whether it was the public or the staff, we were all with the city. Now that's not the case.
Right, but even that doesn't make any difference from a government standpoint of getting E-rate reduction for broadband connectivity. Libraries and schools all get.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a deal to get a discount?
Yeah, you get a discount on your rates.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you want me to look into it, I can.
Well,
And see what we can.
It'll have to go through. It'll be a city budget item and our connectivity agreement that X amount of our cost is to a public library.
And I know we get so much from Mitchell Telecom, but I don't know what discounts are given and to where and how.
And whether maybe it's in there already based on that they're providing service to a library, because that throws a red flag that.
And I can call Mitchell Telecom too and talk to them.
Well, they might not.
But may not. Okay.
No, but I was just curious on that, because your comment about the not knowing the pipeline for city employees versus the pipeline size for access at the library being two different things. The pipeline for the access at the library, if we're getting a discount, we should be able to pay above what we're paying for other parts to make it as big as we can.
Right.
But I don't know where that fits in our budget and how all that counts from the IT standpoint of managing the city's broadband stuff. But the library should be getting some discount.
Yeah.
But yes, if we can remove that password and make it easier for people to sit in the library and use their own devices to access the internet, we should do that.
Well, I did talk to Carrie at Mitchell Telecom, and this is what we're getting now for $64.95 per month. We have a 50 megabyte download and a 15 megabyte upload.
Okay.
So to the next level would be $104.95 per month, and the library will have patrons 120 megabyte download and 25 megabyte upload.
Is that a need you see, or?
I don't know at this point, but at least we know what the upload and download speed we have.
Will be faster, and I know we've had patrons that have left because our computers are too slow.
Does that happen frequently?
Every so often. Yeah.
Right, but is it
our devices, or is it
their devices, or is it our connection?
Yeah, it could be the connection, because when they come in, when they're on the computer, that's
when they're on our computers.
Our equipment.
I'm asking about when they have their own devices there. Are they
no, they've
complaining
never
that they're
said
too slow?
anything.
I'm not worried about them complaining too slow when they're on our computers there.
Okay. Yeah, I have not heard a comment one way or the other.
I'm more worried that they're complaining when if they're on their phone and they're trying to access something, or they're on a tablet, or they brought something in and are trying to access something.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some of them I know that I can talk to.
Because I don't know how we're how's the library being charged that charge? Is it all through IT? Yeah. And so it doesn't reflect on anything we're paying.
Yeah, because we don't have any broadband.
Because we don't have any. We have electricity and we have natural gas. So,
I believe it comes to the IT
yeah,
budget.
and so we need to maybe talk with, ask what our options are for the library possibly, yeah, from that aspect. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
next, Jack.
Children's furniture has arrived
Oh,
and has been placed in the children's section. And we had a group of kids in here yesterday, and one little kid came up to Lori and, or not Lori, I'm sorry, Jean, and she said, "Thank you, Miss Jean, for the shelves."
Oh, that's sweet.
Because they were just her size, and
Cute.
Yeah, they look nice.
okay, we had a
yeah, okay.
giving, Christmas tree where
Oh,
people,
are we past number 5 and on something else now?
we're on number 4.
No,
on the-
we're financial report. We
Oh,
already
I'm
covered.
sorry. No, we're still on number 5.
Okay,
We're on
Yeah,
additional
directors,
items.
because you're going off the director's report.
Right. mhm.
okay.
Okay.
And I'm on the additional items
Okay.
page. Okay. We had a giving tree. People could donate hats, mittens, scarves, socks for patrons of all ages. They could also donate canned goods, and it'll end in a couple of weeks, but basically the most activity we had was the last couple of weeks of December. You've got the figures here. We had 321 items donated. 300 of those have gone. Some canned goods, the pasta, the gloves, the socks, scarves were the hot ticket items. So, it was a good first project. We'll see what we can do next year. Yeah, we felt we have to do something to replace the food for fines since we don't charge anymore. So,
Yeah. Just give for the sake of it, yeah.
Okay.
Jumpstart, we're hosting that again.
And when?
It is in the end of March. Because I think they all have to be, all the paperwork has to be completed by the end of March.
And that's something we've done before?
Yeah, this will be our second year of doing it.
Okay.
Yep.
And from how far away do we get other people coming?
Probably from a good 30 to 40 mile radius.
So local town library?
Local towns, smaller towns around Mitchell. Of course, last year it was the first year that Jean Patrick was doing it, and they all wanted to come to Mitchell. I think we had 19 signed up and 16 showed up.
Good.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Mostly our trade area?
Yeah.
Mitchell?
Mhm.
Do you get Huron or
Yes, actually.
Yankton or anybody? to come?
I'm not sure about Yankton. They probably had their own. They're far enough away.
Yeah.
But I would say like Menno, Freeman, those smaller towns. Shouldn't I?
Okay, yep. Sounds good.
Foundation and Friends, I checked on the websites of the other libraries. A couple of libraries had both the Friends and the Foundation. Huron, I believe, no, Pier doesn't have neither a Friends group or a Foundation. And they both had basically separate mission statements. The Friends of the Library group were doing things for like summer reading program, what have you. The Foundation was more for furniture, equipment, and things long-term for the public library. And
But where are we on the Friends of the Library? Because we had an interested person.
right, because she was supposed to come last month, and
Just talked to her this morning. We've made a few changes in the Articles of Incorporation of the Mitchell Friends of the Library. We submitted it here today.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice. Great update.
yay.
okay.
So yes, you'll have info at the
Yeah.
next meeting. Okay? Okay?
Okay, what does it state? Is it Mitchell Public Library Foundation Board?
Friends of the Mitchell Public Library.
Okay, but it's also going to serve as a foundation or just a friends group? It's going to do both, right?
I do both.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, our last couple of items, well, actually, there's one in here that we didn't put in. Our door is fixed. Our folding door in the meeting room
Oh.
is fixed, finally. So, and we have put it to good use.
So now, I know we talked about, like, only having certain people maneuver it then, because isn't it a finicky,
Well, it's finicky no longer.
If it's fixed, it's.
it's okay?
Right,
Okay,
yep.
okay.
Yeah, I think
Great.
Denny needs to show all of us. He said they
Okay.
slide so well across the track. The way that they had rigged it up in the beginning was not the right way to do it. It was just not heavy enough to support, those panels and.
Are those lowest qualified bidder deals?
Denny did go with a different person to install it. We finally got the parts in, and then it was a struggle to get the parts, but once we got the parts, he went to a different vendor, and the different vendor is one who did all the repairs.
Yep. And that first vendor is, I guess, no longer in business. Oh. Yep.
Think about that when I was in an elevator in a public building, knowing that it was installed by the lowest qualified bidder.
Oh, boy.
Thanks.
Yeah,
for
now I
putting that
Yeah,
in.
he
I
was
was living in oblivion.
Qualified, yeah.
Didn't need to hear that.
Anything else with
Yep.
director's report?
Two
Oh,
more
okay.
items. The library passed its annual facility inspection, and we did not have, I'm sorry, my grammar stunk there. It should be violations, but we didn't have any. We're good to go till next year.
That was one we kind of got kicked around on last year, wasn't it?
Oh.
Oh, this is different than the insurance?
Yes, this is just the fire
Oh.
inspections.
Fire.
Yeah. Last year, the one you're talking about was just the building inspector by insurance.
Right.
Yes, and that was with the railing and stuff.
Yeah, that was the one we kind of got beat up on.
That was 2 years ago.
Oh, that-
Last year was just the railing.
And did you cover winter bingo?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
We've started winter bingo, and we kind of patterned it off of, I think it's Pier. Their participants could turn in, if they got one bingo across or wherever, they could turn it in for prizes like every week. Well, we want to issue prizes for the people who did the most at the end of February. And we have people that actually do those. They like it. And they send us thank you notes and for broadening their horizons. So, yeah, actually pretty good. So I think that's it. Oh, no. It's 5:30 already.
So do we approve that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to, yeah.
Okay, so a motion to approve the director's report?
I'll do that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? On to number 6, communication and correspondence.
This is about One Book South Dakota. It's filmed by, or book by Ken Newberg, but there's a movie associated with this. And the creator of the movie wants to show it at public libraries. And so I've said we are interested. So I'll have more information on that.
What's the book and movie? You know?
It's by Ken Newburn, and the name escapes me. It's about the Native American. I'm sorry, I'm just drawing a blank. I should have jotted it down, but I think it's one that focuses solely on Native Americans, and I think it was a movie that was made primarily by Native Americans. So I can shoot some information to you, and then we'll do.
Any idea when or?
No, I guess it's just when he has time available in his schedule.
So he contacted us asking if we'd be willing to.
Yeah, he's just saying who's interested, then he'll
Figure out
set a
if they're
schedule.
willing and you got time.
This is the author?
Not the author, it's the who's promoting the movie.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And I think it's been in the theaters already,
Okay.
so it's not like it's a new release. Okay, we can unfinished business. You have, I think you probably had the goals in your packet.
Yep.
And so there were 2 items in the trustee budget that I did work on. We now have a publicity plan, and now we have a short survey. I didn't know how long to go on the survey because you could have pages and pages and nobody will fill it out and send it. Getting to the publicity plan, it's short and sweet. I don't know if you want to go through them item by item, but basically any newspaper articles that deal with the library, that'll go through me. Radio stations, Jean and myself, you know, if she has a program that she wants to promote, she's certainly more than welcome to go on the radio station.
Okay, I got a question and a suggestion.
Okay.
We've got a publicity plan that says who's going to do stuff, but what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah, we got who, but not what.
Okay.
So, and I was thinking the same. So newspaper articles, and so how many are we going to have, and
Okay.
in what months?
Okay.
And radio stations, you go with new book info once a month.
Okay.
Every 2 months. I don't know.
Okay.
Webpage, I'm assuming would be periodically.
Whenever.
Update it. Probably almost monthly.
Right. Okay.
I don't know what service organizations you're going to talk to. Maybe you don't know either, but as you could schedule them, or
Okay, sure.
as you have something to super promote or something, I guess.
Okay.
Social media, I'm not sure what is that.
Right, should we be specific about Facebook?
Facebook.
Twitter?
Or are you going to send out surveys on it? Are you going to send out, I mean, scavenger hunts on it? Are you going to send out
Right. Any activities?
any activity?
Okay.
Pictures of
And
the books?
targeted, is there stuff targeted for spring, stuff targeted for summer, stuff targeted for,
Okay.
well, when I saw social media and then saw your winter bingo, I thought, well, why don't you just run bingo on social media?
Yeah, I could do that.
I don't know enough about it, of what you're trying to do, but I thought the same thing. So this is who's going to, but what are we going to do and when are we going to do it? And it's probably just going to evolve. I mean, you don't know exactly what you're going to do either, but
Right.
I should try and get something in radio every other month or every month or
Okay.
I don't know.
I have a concern of the 7 different ways to use publicity. The children's librarian is on there 6 of the 7 times. We're already using We voiced our concerns earlier about her being overtime, doing
Right.
overtime.
No, this won't,
Shouldn't impact that? you're telling
it
us?
shouldn't, no. No. These will all be due
Should just be just part of
the normal
routine.
work day.
She'll be able to get her other duties.
Excuse me?
She'll be able to get her other duties done
Yes.
as well as this and still stay within her 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next question is the survey that you have, is that something that you email out, you'll hand out, you'll mail out?
Email.
Email? Because
Hand out, can put it on the Facebook, can put it on the city website.
do you have email addresses for the patrons? Because the city does have a subscription to SurveyMonkey, so we can do the surveys for
Oh,
free.
I didn't know that, okay.
Yeah.
Carolyn said that is it Atrium? Is that what the library uses? She says that when you sign up for a library card, if the patron chooses, he or she puts his email in that
Okay.
info. And so she said the database that you're using for books should have most
do a
of your
survey.
Yeah,
emails.
so it's saved,
Okay.
and then it totals all the information for you.
And she made it sound like that program allows you to email everybody announcements
There yet?
and she, I know she's been wanting to have us utilize that program
Okay.
for that, because it must be working too, like phone numbers and things, because I get a reminder about overdue books. Carolyn made it sound like you'd have to go in and type out your message, but it would send just like the automatic ones for reminders for books.
Okay.
So I don't know how the software works, but
Now we'll figure that out.
So those are-
Survey
the
Monkey would
other
be great.
thing that hit me was in your question 5 when you put example second floor. We send that out and the word's going to be out that the library is going to add a second floor.
Okay.
So
No,
I
that's
don't know
fine.
if I would put yes if we were to have more space, but I don't know if I'd put second floor on.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
my point
okay.
of have more space is we change the space use that we currently have. Something's more important than something else, and we make that change.
Okay.
But I think if you put i.e. second floor on there, and we send that out as a survey monkey, people are going to come back and say, hey, the library's going to add a second floor, and we're going to get a room to do this or this or this.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna get, why in heaven's name did they wanna spend that money to put a second floor on the library?
Right. Or they're going to say, we just spent $3 million on upgrading the library, and now they're going to upgrade, they're going to add more space.
Right. Okay. So say that again, what you wanted me to change it to?
Oh, I'd add more space, period.
Okay.
Check all that apply. If the library,
Or maybe even how would you like to see library space used?
yeah,
Okay.
instead of add more up.
Yeah, there you go.
I know what you're getting at, because I'm part of it, because I've listened to these things enough, but
Right.
how to convey that to the
Okay.
public, and really, you're right, we're going to convey it, and if we can do a survey monkey, we're going to ask the public that knows the library, not the public in general.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to send emails to the people that we have emails of, not people that have never been to the library.
Right. Okay, how would you like to see the library utilize its space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another comment too, is that, Jackie, library director under publicity plan is on every single one of these.
Mm-hmm.
But there may be people that you have as employees that would be really good resources. I'm thinking people that are young, or like
Started out.
web page and social media and things like that. That you could maybe assign them to update things, and you could just tell them what needs to be done, and they. I mean,
And that's
it's
usually-
so intuitive. I don't know what the ages of your employees are, but if I'm going to sit there, or Carly's going to sit there and do something on the computer, she's probably going to get it done in half the time. Well,
No, I've got somebody.
in general, so
Yeah.
I'm saying that just because you are responsible for it doesn't mean you have to be the one that actually does it.
No, that's true. Basically, on the web pages, I tell Luke what I want,
Okay.
and he does it.
Yeah. And so long as he, works, I don't know if he's full-time or part-time, but
Yeah, he's full-time.
yeah, so I would do the same with social media,
Right.
it's second nature for a lot of people to be doing things on social media, and things don't pull up on people's social media unless new things are posted. If you don't post things, they don't show up.
So would you rephrase it, because we need to put the what, the when, that sort of thing? Would you
Yeah.
almost rephrase it so that you are removing the library director from these responsibilities, and instead you're saying that you must approve it all? Is that?
I think
Or
she's
your
still
deadline
responsible
is-
for it, but I still
Directed
think
by library director.
Yeah,
that
Okay.
she's
Okay.
not-
she doesn't
I mean,
The one
she'd be
doing
the one
it,
that pushes the
right.
button.
Yeah, she doesn't have to physically do it, but she
Delegate.
would still be
Yeah,
responsible
delegate,
for it.
yeah.
Yeah, library director or
Checking
delegate.
on the deadlines,
Yeah,
more so.
and the face of it needs to be you.
Right.
Service organization or radio or whatever. That needs to be you, but nobody knows who's doing the webpage.
Right.
And even in this, I know we're, that community room, I don't know. I think we should be getting the word out that it's available space for the community. If you don't wander into the library, you may not even know that. So that could be a radio PSA that we work on,
Okay.
that runs some, I don't know, I'm just
Yeah, no,
thinking
that's.
out loud.
Since we remodeled, we're getting more use there. More people are aware of it, but is it on the webpage? Hey, you need a meeting space,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just, book sale room, all that stuff, I think.
The whole point is that we're open and it's free to use as long as you're not doing weird political stuff or selling stuff or any of that type of stuff. So
We're having a revival.
okay.
Okay.
So you're still on number 7. What else?
Goals.
Trustee budget?
Trustee budget.
Did the rest of the goals look okay? Is there anything we need to do?
These were the 2 things that we highlighted in the last meeting to
Right.
address in the goals.
Okay.
So one of the other things that just came up is if we get the articles of incorporation for the stuff and we get it back, we can address how we think, whether that's one group, 2 groups, how that operates going forward.
Well, candidly, no. Friends of the Pinto Public Library is an independent corporation. It's going to do its own
No, we
thing.
don't have anything to do with
We
it.
get them appointed and send them on their way?
Yeah, we don't even appoint them. They're just their own thing.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Yeah. But there should be
There needs to be some communication so they know what we
a
would like
liaison.
them to do. Yeah.
Which usually when there's a friends group, it's the director,
Yeah.
which.
It's written as an independent South Dakota nonprofit corporation. Stands alone, but its specific purpose is to support the Mitchell Public Library.
Right.
Neat.
Yeah, so there needs to be some communication of some sort, so they know what we would like, and we know
Yep.
what they would like.
Kind of the key on those things on supporting organizations is you want, and that's why it takes a little while to do this. You want to have a very clear statement of purpose, but you want to have it you don't want to have it integrated into the entity that it's supporting, because there are things that an unconnected
Affiliated.
organization can do that the city can't. So, that's why, and I'm not privy to any of this at all, but that's kind of the whole deal with the MTI Foundation building the student housing apartments out there, because the technical institutes themselves are barred by state law to do that.
I
So that's why you gotta have that space.
And that concept that the city uses by having a chamber of commerce
Yeah.
with a development corporation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There are things they can do that
We
municipal
can't.
government
Yeah.
is not allowed to do by state law.
So that's why you gotta keep that separation. Which is why the statement of purpose is so important.
Right.
Okay. But anyway, from our goal standpoint, we can go forward.
Yeah, we're gonna have that one done.
Okay.
What about, I'm not trying to take too long, but, we have all these completed things, the develop and create fees policy. And last time I just had asked where that's posted. Is that
It will be
updated?
posted on the website.
It will be? Or
Yeah,
it is?
it's not completed yet. I have
Oh.
other policies to put on there, but I would say I'm just about done. And it will be posted on the library webpage on the city's website.
Okay. Yeah, because I just thought, well, we amended them and nobody's looking at them. Okay.
Right.
So they will be posted. Do you have a date in mind at all, or?
Well, I'd like to get done by the end of the month.
Cool.
I think I could do it and get it on there.
Why don't you put up what you do have done and then supplement it with
Okay.
additional ones?
Okay.
So you get it wrapped up.
Okay, trustee budget.
Okay, what does that look
Fine print.
like? Okay.
Yeah. I need your signature on this too.
Proposed budget 2019.
2019, yeah.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Jim said,
Justin.
fine. If I have it any bigger, it won't fit on there. Maybe this would be a good time to, talk about the gala, the trustee budget.
Not board input.
Oh, no, yeah.
Or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, board input would be
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we've never done a budget before,
No, so this
so,
is,
I can't say if it's good or bad, but it looks,
right,
it's something to work from.
We took the values and divided them by 12.
12, yeah.
Well, it
right,
should
based
help
on.
with like the book purchases, for one thing, it should help with that, and the
Right.
books and stuff.
Mhm.
Because then you'll see each month what you should be
Right.
spending.
Well, this is the trustees' budget, not the city budget.
Okay, you're right, okay.
This is the
Gotcha.
budget that we based off the approximate, we
Yeah.
think will make $18,000 as trustees.
And this is what got us up to 81 something thousand.
Yeah.
Right,
And so,
I see.
like if we want to buy something or promote something or do something that's outside of one of the attributes of the city budget,
Okay,
then we've got some money to spend, and where we spend it, we just said, hey, we have about this amount of money, and we think it's in these categories, we'll divide it by 12 and put it in each month, but that certainly doesn't mean we're going to spend X amount of money each month on some of these items.
right,
So, as we kind of go through future-wise, if we say, yep, and I'll make this up in April of every year for the next 3 years, we're going to think about buying something or promote something or whatever. Okay, let's budget $400 or $500 in that month every year for, I don't know, advertising or ping pong balls or whatever
well, like National
something
Library Week.
outside of a program that we're going to come up and do. Yep, if there's $500 we always want to put in National Library Week for something going on, then we develop that and put it in. But we almost kind of have to see what we spend in some time frame to
Right.
know what that's going to be, unless we want to have a separate part of a meeting and say, okay, here's the calendar, here's the things we want to do. Let's put money in the months that we think we want to do them and go forward. But to me, that goes back even to the public relations plan and all that type of stuff. When and what do we want to do, and then we can back in, okay, do we have the money to support that from the trustees standpoint?
Right, this is,
So the other part we need to watch, and we guesstimated the 18,000 plus money in there. We got to get probably another year's worth of
yeah.
data, is because next year we might say, oh, it should only be 16,000,
Right, then we have to adjust.
or based on friends at the library and other stuff, maybe it goes up. But from the standpoint of starting 2009, I'll move approval of the trustee budget as this is presented, knowing that we probably have changes and updates, and we're not going to authorize the total expenses of, what is it, 655, whatever, in January, because we don't have anything
We don't.
targeted to spend.
Right.
So as the months progress, we'll see over budgets and under budgets and adjustments.
Yes.
And that'll give us an idea of when money comes in and when money goes out. Right.
Yeah, this
Yep.
is just a jumping off point.
Yep. So that's great. We've got one to start with, and I think as things come up, we can say, hey, do we have money that we want to spend of our own on this type of thing? And if we do, we plug it in and see where we take it from.
And it looks like the number 56% of the total income was what we would like to spend. Is that what where did that number come from? Is that what we've done, or?
I wanted actually 50%, but as I went through the totals and adjusted some of them, it just came up to 56%.
Okay,
So that was just a swag at your
Yeah.
swag meaning scientific wild ass guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're
Called rule of thumb.
So this
okay.
would be 10,000 from our trustee account of our total. I was
Right.
thinking maybe
Yeah.
every year we would spend about 11,000.
Right, depending. Well, what I thought of was 10,158 out of 18,104.60.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just like in your head, we're kind of thinking, well, we make this much, we should probably spend about half of it and keep
Right,
half
and
of it.
then
Okay.
Savings.
They
I didn't know if that
save the rest.
56 was like something important. I
Right.
mean, specific or what, but I understand now.
And we have no limits on it. We can
Right,
spend
right.
it all or none.
Right.
Actually, we have $81,000 we could spend if we wanted to.
Right.
But yeah, but y'all wanted
Yeah.
a budget, so we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why this is a place to start.
Yep.
I had one question. I had thought in an earlier meeting you had mentioned getting rid of the pop machine.
Well, it turned out the staff wanted the pop machine.
Oh, okay. I just thought
I saw
okay.
that come in, and
That's fine.
and brings up a comment as I'm putting them on the trending information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting anything in fines anymore since April. So everything that you've given me, pop and interest and everything else, is all going into miscellaneous because I want fines to be zero
Right.
and not anything left over there, to make fines just go away and it's zero. And if we need to add a column of something else, that
Donations.
becomes donations or whatever,
Right.
depends on how the donations come in, though, with our after we have our friends and
Mhm.
How that goes.
depends on where we put them. But so earbuds and all, it's all in miscellaneous, and I just keep a note in there that all of these different things are adding up to this.
Okay. Yeah, they.
And I saw pop machine, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was zero before. Now we got some. Now we got some again. And
Yeah, they said, hey, the pop is flat. It's like, okay, they
But I
won't
want
pop.
so that we could say fines, we cut off on whatever the date. And
April 1st?
Zero. Yep.
Okay.
So do we?
So
so
I had a
you made a
motion.
motion.
To
Second.
approve this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So then bylaws, is that what we're on now?
Yeah, I think Jim asked that we get a copy of the bylaws to see if there was anything about what rules of order we follow, because you had sent an email out a couple, 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
With it, yeah.
And of course, now there is nothing there, so.
We can use whatever rules of order we want.
Right.
And I read through, the only thing that I questioned and highlighted was, and maybe my memory is just bad, so has our meeting in July, have we declared that the annual meeting in the past where we've done elections and that type of stuff?
Not that I recall.
I think.
I don't know that we always have.
No, it's usually been in April or May, I think, when they had the city elections and everything,
Yeah.
when it was
And
back
then
in
the
April.
Other part that's in there, it says the annual budget shall be reviewed and approved at this meeting, and I know we haven't done that.
We've never done that.
No.
Because a lot of times we're still going back and forth with the city, the way it operates now, and it's like, yep, okay, by the end of August or for September's submittal, this is the number we think and we hope it survives. So that we actually
Yeah, and I think that's all it is.
review and approve a budget at the annual meeting in July is probably not.
I wonder if-
Provisional one is that.
But I wonder if the reason they came up with July was when we used to submit our budget to council was in July. We
Yeah.
would submit it in
Yes.
I'm
July.
sure that's
why
what
it came
happened,
from.
Yeah,
or
we
why it
have
came
to,
that way, but
Yeah, you all have to approve the budget to get sent in, that's all it is. What happens after that?
But now we have to have it before July.
Yeah, actually,
We
have to have
May.
it in
we're
June.
gonna have
Yeah,
May
May.
and June. At least what we think is going to happen.
We should probably amend or.
I don't mind having an annual meeting.
Yeah, an annual meeting makes sense. That's on the budget, I think we can amend the thing to provide that we have to annually submit a budget to the city in whatever time frame is required by the city.
Right, then we don't have to keep changing it.
And then we pick when we want to have an annual meeting and elect officers. If July is in there,
It says July of
why not?
each year, but that's fine.
Where did you see that annual meeting?
It's in section 2 under Article 4 meetings. It's on
Okay.
page 2, I believe. I printed them front and back, so 1, 2, 3.
Okay, you said it's Article 2?
Article 4
Oh,
meetings,
4,
section
okay.
2.
It's on page 2, okay.
And as I read other things, it's like, yeah, there's ways we could interpret that to make it work, but that was the one I couldn't. It's like,
So what are you proposing that it say?
well, I don't.
What?
All we need to do is remember to elect our officers in July.
And how do you want to say that we change the wording from the budget and
I just strike the whole thing.
strike the whole thing on the budget and leave it out
Take that sentence right out.
and just don't have one in there? 'Cause
Okay.
it's really, the whole budgeting process probably really isn't I don't know if it's necessary to be in in this document at all.
Yeah, if we weren't receiving support from the city, that would be very important.
Right.
We have to follow whatever the city does.
Okay, where do we strike then?
Article 4, Section 2, last sentence.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And the rest of it we probably can abide by,
Yeah.
I think. Just need to remember that July is an annual meeting.
section 1 says we meet on Wednesdays, and I know it does say or as such time as agreed to.
Right,
Yeah,
as
I'll
such
change
time
that.
as agreed.
Yeah.
So that's all.
So it'd be third Tuesday.
Well, no.
No, just leave it the
Just
way it is.
leave it the way it is.
Oh, okay.
As such time as agreed to. So we've agreed to meet on Tuesdays.
Did it used to
Okay.
be Wednesdays?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be.
Dave had a,
In the absence of anything to the contrary,
okay,
we'll meet Wednesdays, but we
I got it.
decided to do it Tuesdays.
Okay.
Yeah, so see if we can strike that, and then we can bring it back and vote on it as amended with, on whatever date we bring it back and vote on it.
Okay. Well, let's look at.
Approximately February 12th, I'm thinking.
So what about the terms and such and such? And section, Article 2, Section 1 talks about how long people are on it. I mean, are we,
Figure that out?
thing you have with the
Yeah.
library
This
board,
is out of date, and I wouldn't even,
Well, that's the most current.
right, but.
but it's current for
is it
The
correct for
library
the
board.
library?
isn't it?
Yeah, except we need to get Dave put on to 2020.
That was one
yes.
of these things, I think.
Thank you.
And with the, yeah, and I don't know if it's possible to construct the timeline with people that have left and come back and left and come back, et cetera, and when they were appointed to know that we're meeting our articles.
How important is that?
It's three consecutive
That's not
One could serve 3
terms,
years.
but they have to stay out a year before they can come back on.
right, but they're supposed to be staggered at appointment.
Well, you know,
Two
a lot of
3 years.
So we don't
a
have
lot
whole
of these
board.
is when
Right.
like a library is first forming, and it's board members.
Right, but these
Right.
are like, they're all within 2 years. They're all starting in 17 or 18. There should be someone
Let's see,
either going off, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
right, but if I'm doing the timeline of it, then Jackie's comment that,
Right,
so they're staggered, so
Right.
in year 0, that
right,
whenever they formed in 1902 or whatever it was,
right. I understand. To get started, you have to
To get
do,
started,
some
you
people
do
have
that,
one,
but then
some people have 2, some
some-
people have 3-year terms.
right, but then and then at some point somebody moves away and they didn't finish their term, somebody gets appointed.
Right.
And
So we kind of have to start with where we're at right now. Like, I know I started in 2018.
yep,
Mhm.
And you get to serve 9 years.
Holy
I
moly.
technically did.
If you wish.
Did I start in 2018? I was thinking I started in 2017.
Okay.
Like a fall ago. Not, does
Okay.
that make sense? I don't
So-
know.
So when are we saying that, what month do people start? I mean, I started like
Right.
in October because our mayor was elected and started in July and said, you want to be on the board? I mean, because we're friends.
And I think I filled a place too.
Yeah, and I can't.
Right.
In the middle of,
The amendments
I think it was in the
have to
fall of 20.
Was either Beth Sandoval or
No, I don't think so.
Leffers, I think.
Correct.
yeah, we'll make a suggestion.
Leslie was
Come back
gone,
and vote
but-
it on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe
you
it was
were
left
replaced right
unfilled.
away, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
saying, 'cause
exactly
she
right.
left.
So,
So
but
February
I'm just
12th
saying that
is
if
the
we're,
amendment.
I mean, I think we can take our current library board, but I think they should be, if we have 6 people on the board, 2 should, their
Right.
term should expire every year. And the only one I know is that I started in 2018. So really, if our annual meeting is in July, so shouldn't that be the, I mean, if we're gonna, if that's important, if that's not important, we'll just go.
No, because really the 1, 2, and 3-year terms is only important the first year of business.
Right.
So that you set up staggered terms, and then no organization ever successfully has staggered terms because of people coming and going,
Okay.
filling stuff out.
All right.
Is it just so when your term is, when a person's term is up, then the mayor
Yeah, I was going to ask if,
Are you? Have you met?
Yeah. We have our next quarterly meeting next Tuesday, and I showed up for it today. I was a week ahead.
No, no. So is that it for bylaws, or do we need to do something?
Oh, I don't know.
Do the bylaws need to be posted somewhere?
well, they'll be posted on the website, but do we need to officially change anything?
Can't today.
We can't.
Can't
today.
next month.
It has to be proposed for next month.
Okay.
7 states that you can't. You have to. We're proposing the changes today, and then you bring those changes back at the next meeting. But you have to have the changes published before in the agenda, and then we can make the changes
So,
as proposed
so
next
I
meeting.
move that we propose the changes and the changes striking of that last sentence,
The last sentence of Article 4, Section 2.
and that we have that as an agenda item and for the February 12th meeting.
It says they need to go out 2 weeks before the meeting, so
So that's more than what we.
Normally
more than what we
Post.
normally do. So make the change and post them tomorrow.
So yeah, agenda will have to be posted 2 weeks, and plus the meeting is a week early.
Yeah.
So like by the
So
end
that
of
needs
this
to be
week?
on the agenda. Is that what that means, or just the change in the bylaws?
Well, it really doesn't need to be on the agenda. I mean, the agenda can come out as it normally would and say we're going to consider a modification of the bylaws. Because we're the only ones that vote on the bylaws.
Right, right.
Doesn't matter to the public. But we just, as members, we have to be able to acknowledge in the minutes that we knew about the change and that it
Okay.
was
And that they're
physically
there.
sent to us at least a week before the meeting.
Okay.
Publish it as early as you can.
Just email them stuff.
Yeah.
And it's up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're got 4 terms. Cameras.
Tell us about cameras.
You all should have a copy of
2 different.
estimates. One, removing the camera from the outside, from the dumpster area, to move it inside. And I believe that's the 45510. And the second one, that's 66837, is adding a second camera to the hallway.
And
It was a typo on the top.
Both of these.
Where it says add one, move one, that was a typo. I double checked on that because I saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
the
it's
first
just-
one is add one and move one,
Correct.
and the second one is just add one?
Add 2,
Add.
the 2 cameras. Look at the quantity. There's the 2 cameras.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and leave everything.
Correct, and leave everything else as
Everything
is.
where it's at.
Okay.
Now, there probably will be another estimate because this one expired at the end of the year.
So I talked to Andrew on this, and what happened was because we didn't have our meeting last month,
Right.
this quote expired, and now it sounds like it will probably be the same from these people, but he does have to get quotes from Onsite 24/7 as well and other businesses. So he'll have to get more quotes now, whereas last year he could have used just this quote because this is what the city uses. So if you want to proceed, you let him know what you want to proceed on, and then he'll get the quotes for that, and then we'll go with the best quote. Otherwise, they'll still be in these price ranges, though. It was my fault, Jackie. I told him not to get another quote because it wasn't worth getting another quote if they weren't going to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to proceed.
Yeah. Okay.
But which way do you want to proceed? Do you want to add one and move one, or you want to add 2 and leave it as is?
Oh, I don't know, that,
Oh,
I think it'd be easier just to add 2.
yeah.
so when you add 2, you're not moving one?
No, we're going to leave that one where it's at.
What's the
The one we were moving.
What's the
wasn't
best
to
operational
dumpster?
cost if we add? Do we get charged per camera per month type stuff, or how does that? service?
Currently,
Okay,
now,
Let me ask you different. How many cameras do we currently have in place?
6.
And so the question is, do we need to go to 7 or 8?
Right.
Well, if you want to remove that one with the dumps, that's by the dumpster, and then add one.
And the
Then we
one
got
that's
7.
positioned, and that's in the alley by the dumpster, that was put there originally based on the concept that they wanted to make sure that that area stays.
people were dumping their garbage in the dumpster.
Yeah. And sometimes it was so full that Danny couldn't put anything in it.
So has that problem been resolved?
He hasn't said anything to me lately, so maybe that's no longer an issue.
But then you have to pay for the wiring to move it. That's where that
Yeah.
cost is.
Just put in 2 more.
Have
Ask
him
Andrew to check to put in 2 more.
the quotes for 2 more.
Yep.
And then this would come out of trustee money,
Yep.
correct? Okay.
Probably under equipment.
It's our budget, we can put it wherever we want.
Yeah.
Sounds, maybe we create a safety line item.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I understand the timing and the other stuff, that's just part of the deal. But I would feel better
Have
if
to
we,
vote on that?
based on,
Mhm.
No, because we don't
Yeah.
have the quote.
we don't have the quote yet.
Oh, we don't. No, that's right.
Oh,
So we gotta get the quotes, and then we would vote.
We can just
approve.
direct you to ask Andrew to get a quote
Got it.
back for
Yep.
us to move
Yep.
forward,
somebody
correct?
would know.
Yep, whatever we need so we can act on it next month.
Yep. And then, hopefully, then we can vote on it.
So we already covered board terms, correct?
Yep.
Right.
Is there anything else we need to talk about there?
Library director job description. I mean, it's there. I don't know if you really need to
I didn't have
approve it. So.
anything researched on that, so I don't have a question on it. You might want to leave it as unfinished business for
Yeah.
the next agenda item, though.
Okay.
We can always talk about it or
Right.
brainstorm what we should add or not add or do or not do, but
Okay. Okay, new business. You should have a sheet here. I don't know if you have 2 pages. I just have one on each side. Since we have the essential status all covered, we can go into the enhanced status.
Was that part of the package?
I saw.
Yeah, it was part of the packet.
Towards the very end.
Yep, should be the
Might be
very
the
end.
last one.
I might not have printed it out, but I saw that if we did a review of
The bylaws.
the bylaws, that helped us.
We just did that,
That helped us on one of the categories, right?
right?
It was in the board packet?
What's that?
I'm missing it. Oh, that's one, okay. Yep.
Yep, that's it. And then copy of the minutes or board meeting policies for review. I need clarification on that, and I contacted Kathleen, but I haven't received a response. The documentation of the trustees' continuing education.
I remember when we took those online
Right.
things. Have we had to do that again, or is that a requirement?
Well, before, yeah, evidently now it is, but before, when we went for the essential status, as you went from enhanced to exemplary, there were 2 things that you could skip. Well, evidently we can't skip. So Kathleen's going to be giving me some ideas on how we can
Kathleen is.
Slocum from the state library.
Okay.
Continuing education coordinator for the state library. And because we all work full-time jobs, and the easiest thing to do would to be earn those 30 hours online, but you can only earn half of them online. she's going to give me some
Oh, more like 30 hours?
Each or total?
total.
Okay.
I think. I'm assuming, yeah, because they don't
Like
want
a
one
lot.
person doing the
6
30
hours.
hours, so, yeah, it won't, 6
15,
hours
so
a piece.
5 or 6
3.
hours a piece.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Say
would.
3 could be
Yeah,
online.
so
3.
that wouldn't be.
Sounds like we need a library trustee retreat.
Well, I'll ask her if that's acceptable. Copy of a program evaluation, that's a no-brainer. We've got plenty of programs we can evaluate.
Oh,
For the first,
program that we put on.
to qualify for the enhanced status, we only have to do one, but after that, if we keep doing the enhanced, we'll have to do 3 program evaluations a year.
But okay, so here's my thinking program evaluation. So we put on an event, and as part of the exit of the event, we hand them a survey to fill out 2 or 3 questions. They turn it in. We put it
Right.
together, review it, see what they liked, didn't like. So questions of, would we do it again the next year? What would we improve, et cetera? But that could almost just be part of every program that we do, and we pick the ones we want to review, as long as you got the people
Right.
filling out the
Right.
the information, whether it's online or you send them a
Yep.
you send them a Survey Monkey after every one, and their email's on there, and they get it, and it comes back, and you automatically have it. And just upgrade all the programs to automatically have that as part of the. Is that the concept that they're asking
Right.
to probably try and be? Okay.
Yeah, they're not so much concerned about, how much it costs, but they want the outcome,
Oh, sure. They will.
yeah,
Because they want to be able to pattern it and let other
Yeah.
people know, hey, these guys do this to get feedback and
right.
improve and that type of stuff.
And it certainly can help other libraries too when they're
Correct.
looking for programming.
That's what they're looking for, I'm sure.
And we charge a residence fee, so that's taken care of. We don't have to do that. Copy of the library's collection development policy. We have that. Might have to take a look at our technology plan.
Yeah.
Probably really.
Does the collection development policy, and I don't remember, does it, and I'm sure it didn't at the time because ebooks weren't invented yet, does it talk
Oh
about?
yeah, it's updated.
Does it talk about the ratio of hard copy versus ebook circulation and?
It's
that
basically
type of
how we
stuff?
select our material.
Right, but whether you select them in hard copy or electronic is a criteria that certainly wasn't there before.
Right. Now we can take another look at it.
And I'm thinking in our October, November timeframe, we said, hey, we've got this money to spend it on ebooks if people are saying that there's not enough to check out. Just lump, yeah, it costs a little more, but instead of having 5 copies available, you got 15 copies available.
Right.
And that's the type of strategy I'm wondering in our development policy of how much is the correct ratio for what people are actually using.
Well,
Yeah, some people really want to have a hard
someplace in
copy
here,
book, and some people don't.
well, like on your dashboard, you have in there circulation and ebooks. as
Oh,
part
yeah,
of
and you
that.
see how ebooks have moved up the
Right.
list as the.
I mean, that could be a jumping off point for how you would know that. And you're just saying, is that reflected in the?
Is that reflected in our policy of how we try and do? Yeah, you go back in that, you look back to 2012 and then look where Overdrive and other things, all of a sudden they've come up
Right.
to be in the top 5.
Right.
But it won't be 100%, but it's because the experience of going to the library is still something that we need to make sure, in my view, we need to make sure we protect.
Right.
I'm just curious to know what are, I guess, our goals with this. Does this cost money? Is there a
this library to be exemplary? Well, I don't-
Eventually, yeah. Yeah, if we want, yeah, eventually.
So there's several categories in, what are we in now?
We're in the enhanced, we're applying for the enhanced
Fine,
status.
but there's above that.
Yeah, exemplary is the top.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I didn't print it out, I read it, and that's where I saw that part.
So, you said it doesn't cost anything to apply.
Mm-mm.
Those 30 hours.
Everything will have to be into them by, I'll say probably December 1st. Or,
And so this would be applying for it for 2020.
no, 2019. We will, if we are granted enhanced status, then we will be recognized in 2020.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah. So in 2019, we'll see if we can put all the stuff together.
up
Get
together.
it?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And we have the collection development policy. It has been
It's there.
looked at, it's
Looked at.
there.
We might wanna
you
look
know,
at it
and-
again as part of this.
Next year, we can make it a goal and take another look at it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to, how are we gonna, what do we want that to look like? I don't know.
So do we need to do anything on this now?
Well, maybe within the next couple months, we'll take.
I'll make a motion that we pursue
Exemplary.
exemplary status.
Okay.
Whether we get there or not this year, we'll see, and,
So exemplary,
Oh.
that's the third.
oh,
That's
We're
the final.
currently essential, correct?
Right.
We're aiming
Oh.
for enhanced.
We're aiming for
enhanced, okay, enhanced.
Okay.
Let's target
Okay, so my
enhanced.
motion would be we pursue enhanced status with a goal in the next 5 years to be exemplary.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed?
So keep us updated as to the little check marks for the
Yep,
things we need
I
to
will.
do. And
Yeah, we've got a good start.
Don't let them all go to December.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Explain the Canopy streaming service discussion. I read some of your stuff, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay. What I was told, this is what they provide. They did grant us, it only turned out to be a 2-week free period, so to speak. I asked for an extension and I haven't heard anything back. What they explained to me was they estimated for a community our size, for the patrons that use the library, if they were allowed to look at like 2 movies a month or whatever they had on their database, it would probably cost us $1,200 annually.
$100 a month?
No, annually.
No, $100 a month.
Yeah, $100. Sorry, $100 a month. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's an estimate there.
Right. Well, you know,
Because it's
we
based
can
on
set the
users?
terms.
Okay.
You know, we set the limits. You know, they could only do 1 movie a month. Well, then, I think maybe by the time the 3rd month got around, they get tired of only being allowed to use 1 a month. You know, they're just saying 2 a month.
So educate, what's the supply and demand part? Do we have people asking for this type of stuff? Is it,
Yeah, they're claiming that they've had comments from our patrons.
we have underserved patrons as far as
Yeah,
being able to stream the type of movies they want?
I want to be a little careful about what they're telling us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because in my own personal experience here is when we talked about Canopy 2 months ago, I'd never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, I use Facebook very much, but Canopy was showing up on my Facebook account.
Really?
Constantly. Oh, I suppose
On
it
your
was
phone.
You search it, it'll show up on
Oh,
And then
you're right.
they kept driving me to try and use the Mitchell Public Library, which I know didn't have a Canopy account.
Huh.
Mhm.
So they're building their own numbers.
Oh, okay.
That's why people are requesting
Yeah.
it. They see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because you Googled it.
All right, I didn't think of that. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said you had Googled it
Everybody
to
knows
find
it.
out what it was about.
And we didn't budget anything for 2019
No,
for this.
no, if
And
we were to start
If we
it-
wanted to do it, we'd have to take it out of one of our other line items in our budget, correct?
We don't have a streaming service right now.
No, we don't.
And the other thing, for what it's worth, is that everything that came back from this outfit were just bizarre, weird German art films.
Oh, really?
What else did you Google?
I was going to say, I have no clue. Did I look up Das Boot or what? I don't know. But
I like the comment. The Hubertus Van H was looking to access Killing Us Softly and says, "I'm from Kilmore. How can I join Canopy?"
Yeah,
Well, what's
I-
that to do with our community?
Well, yeah. It's like, where's the people?
How did they do the reaching out?
But
Well,
when they talk about the limits, I mean, is that a fiscal limit where we know that we're only going to be out $100 a month, or how does that work?
Yeah. I mean,
They
there's
never
part of it
said
that
that.
intrigues me. So if I'm the library user, and I rent a movie in January, it knows won't allow me to rent 2 movies in January based on my customer ID, or what happens if? And my thinking is, okay, for $1,200 a year, we get, I'll say 1,200 movies. What if one person goes in and rents 600 in a month?
Well, the limits that we would set would prevent that person from doing it.
So it is by individual user?
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking of, okay, when would I use this? And I was just thinking, oh, as a teacher, maybe I would, but you wouldn't be able to. It would not serve the education world because you'd only get to show it at one time your class met, correct? I mean,
I think.
I was just trying to.
You have 72 hours, I think, to view
That
it.
you have it under your control.
In
Then it goes
Mitchell.
away.
Then it goes away.
High school is block scheduling, so it would be. Yeah, I was just trying to think of who would utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's not the kind of movies. Maybe that's more entertaining.
Oh,
This was my thought as I read. Keep streaming video concept on our horizon, but I don't know if Canopy is the one to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine.
In other words, as we continue to offer
Right.
broadband requested
And I wonder
content,
what are other libraries doing?
Some of them are streaming, some of them aren't.
Because if it works like Overdrive or those outfits where we pay a subscription fee,
and
Yeah.
and they control the content, and whatever gets used.
yeah, I guess I'm just not totally convinced yet of the need and of the control.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, my biggest concern is that we want to make sure that we know what our cost is in a given year.
Right.
Because because I remember seeing something about a number of dollars per film.
$2 per film.
Yeah, $2 per film. If we've got a $1,200 budget, that's 600 films. What if we have people asking for 1,000 films, and all of a sudden our budget's $2,000?
Exactly.
Or our bill is $2,000. So I guess I'm just concerned about the mechanics on how the billing works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know one of the librarians, they had a streaming service, and I don't know who it was, but their costs were going up because their
as you talk
demand.
to other librarians, keep asking them about
Yeah.
what they're doing
You
in streaming
You
services.
put that a lot better than I did, because as the demand increases, is our cost going to increase? How do we control that?
Right.
That's what I don't know.
Okay.
And of course, if it's all German art films, demand
Oh.
is very high.
No, believe me, there's more than just German art films. Yeah, I saw The African Queen there, and I hadn't watched it in years, and of course I signed up for it, and I never got around to watching
darn
it.
it.
So, but if there are only 2 uses, and I was still.
Okay.
Okay, no, that's fine. I think we got through it.
We did it. Okay.
Oh, no, the board input.
I say there's back. Yeah. So Jackie had board input.
Well, I finally moved into the 21st century, downloaded Libby and RB Digital, and well, it works beautifully.
Okay,
Those are great services.
good.
What is it?
Well, RB Digital, it's Overdrive and the other one we've got.
Yeah, recorded books, RB
Yeah, is that
Digital.
What it is?
Okay.
Yeah,
RB
yeah.
Digital is what, is how it
And
comes across on
Overdrive
the.
Is strictly ebooks, and there are some,
But their application is called Libby.
yeah,
I just saw that on the library website. So
And they
that
work-
you put it on your phone.
It works beautifully.
Okay.
And they've got, okay, I made fun of bizarre German art films, but they've got bizarre novels too. And one of the things I check on is to try and find a copy of Umberto Eco's third book, the title of which eludes me at the moment. It's Fratres something or another. It's written in Italian and translated in English. Both of these outfits had it. I mean, you can't find it in live libraries half the time.
right, right.
So that stuff we could be doing PSAs over the radio. I think
Sure.
a lot of the public doesn't know.
Yeah,
about
I
all
mean,
that
I saw it
stuff.
last night when I was trying to pick out a new book, and I didn't know what it meant, and it
Yeah, and
was bedtime, so I didn't know.
it's functional. But I just wanted to let you know. I know
Good.
we've had that for a long time, but I've never signed up for it. I did the other day. It works great.
Good.
Okay.
I just have one more item. Michaela Nelson has been reading the books that we have for Mystery Book Club, and she's been developing the questions. Actually, for 15 years, I asked her this afternoon, and she wanted to know if there was any way that maybe she could get like $10 a month for 11 months.
You'd have to go through city payroll and get approval and all that and stuff like that. You'd have to get approval for the,
But can we do
The
that
position.
for trustees?
it's still considered an employee. You can't hire an employee through the trustees. You'd have to go through city.
Okay.
So the alternate question is there a way to compensate her and not call her an employee?
What, I just have a question. So is she a volunteer? Or
Basically, yeah,
that
she
leads the
volunteers.
community book?
So she reads the
Mhm.
stuff in advance and creates the
Yeah.
questions to ask,
Right, and she
to
would
put
like
out
to
for
get,
people to,
Can 1 hour of her time be reading?
Oh, sorry.
she could probably finish the book in a couple hours. I don't know, I know she reads pretty fast, but then developing the
and she's
questions.
not an employee.
No, she's just she's a
Oh,
volunteer.
I thought she was.
But if you want to
No, she's
compensate
not
her,
a-
she
she's
would
not an
have to be.
employee.
I
You wanna
I
compensate her.
misunderstood. I thought she was an employee that wanted more.
I don't know, do you go to the book clubs? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Are because about everything you read, there's questions online that it takes 2 minutes to look up.
Maybe the books that I picked don't have, you know. But
There's
I
a
think
lot of
she's-
resources out there. So I just didn't know if that, well, $10, how long is it taking her to, is she preparing for the whole book club? I don't know. I was just curious.
Can the trustees give her a gift card to the
Well, see, that's,
coffee shop once a
is there a
month?
different way to compensate her?
Like a recognition gift.
Yeah.
Give her a Walmart gift card.
That's what I'm saying, a gift card to the coffee shop or Walmart or bookstore.
Well.
Yeah, I red flag goes off of paying them cash and saying we're
Okay.
compensating you to do this from a cash standpoint, because trustees were not set up that we have our own employees, and I don't know if we can have our own employees
No, I don't think we
separate
can.
from the city. And going through the city for $10, you're wasting more on paperwork than you are on
And if it's a volunteer position,
cost.
she's
If it's
done
a
it for
volunteer
15 years,
position.
maybe she's just tired of volunteering. Maybe we need to find a new volunteer.
Well, that could be, and the
You know, I
email
mean-
that I got from her this afternoon is, I think this one that we're doing at the end of the month probably will be her last.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
Well, and I guess, and I don't have a
Volunteers.
problem if it's going to be your last, that you still give her a gift card or you give her some recognition for years of service, et cetera, et cetera. That I don't have a problem with at all, but to do it on a ongoing, permanent basis that you actually get this because you, as a requirement of the volunteering, is where the red flags go off in my head.
Okay.
And she's got to declare it.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and if, is there a reason that it's a volunteer position? It's not part of our program? You know, because is that considered an adult program that we do?
Maybe it needs to become part of our library programming, budget, and staff duties.
Duties as assigned, right, to your staff.
I was just curious.
I mean,
why.
I understand how it evolved and she
Yeah.
started doing it, but
And if she
especially
wants to do it, great.
if, she's tired, I'm not going to do it anymore. But that as part of your book club that you're going to sponsor as a program of the library, you want those questions there in the future anyway.
But
Right.
So
does
does
she
it just
lead
become
the
part of-
discussion, or is it?
No, she doesn't. She just
Comes up
picks
with
up the book and she reads it and comes up with the
questions.
And this kind of cranks us back to what we were talking about with Friends of the Library. You know,
Sure.
we've got outside organizations that, we kind of, they certainly support us and are an essential part of what we do, but they're really independent. So, so if we're going to have the Mystery Book Club as a library-sponsored, library-directed program, then it's got to be run in-house by library staff. And that's not how it works now. It's a Mystery Book Club that just
Yeah, well, I lead the discussions. Yeah.
But you do that as a volunteer on your own time.
Yeah.
You can't volunteer your employment on your own time.
I
But
didn't
she's
say she
right,
was volunteering her
But-
employment. She's doing it on her own time.
But she's salary, so you can
You
do
can
it whenever.
Do it anytime.
Yeah.
But don't shoot anybody in
Yeah.
the Mystery Book Club meeting, then the city will be liable. If you're going to shoot them, make sure you say, I am not working for the city at this moment. Then shoot. Okay. Oh, hell, this is all recorded.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Yeah.
So, that we give her some recognition if this is the last. I don't have any issue with that, but I can't see. And really, the point of if it's part of the Mystery Book Club that the library is running, then we probably need to evolve that somebody's library duties comes up with the questions. Somebody that's employed by the library, that becomes part of their job.
Okay.
And
Right,
it shouldn't,
unless she's still-
shouldn't be you necessarily, Jackie, except that you're signing someone to do it, you know.
And it could be as simple as probably say Google questions.
Yeah.
Goodreads is awesome.
Right?
And actually, that's where we're getting most of our stuff.
Old timers call them just their cheat sheets. You go back and here's ask this one, this one, this one, this one.
Okay.
We're really old.
Hey,
You remember those too, huh?
speak. No, I was saying, you say speak for yourself.
So then, are we at adjournment or?
I think so.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Boy, it takes like a split second. for
Meeting adjourned.
adjournment.
Wow, about at
Yeah, good.
6:30 on the dot?
Well, thanks y'all for coming.
Yeah, the meetings are always here, right?
Yeah.
Seem very official.
I didn't read the title page.
Well, I missed last meeting. I mean, we didn't have December, and I missed November, and so we only had it here once.
And I'll get that changed. Man, I could have sworn it was in. Yeah. And there's something with